Let's go ahead and examine ViewModels in our ASP.NET Core application. As stated before, ViewModels are used as an extraction layer to associate the model data to your view. They do not work directly with your entity data objects, but they are useful to build an abstraction layer so you can do all of your validation logic on your model types and properties, and then pass those properties to your direct object entity data model, and then implement CRUD operations. We will implement that later when we utilize Entity Framework Core. Let's go into our course project solution folder, and let's click Add, New Folder, and let's name this ViewModels. This is where our class files associated with our ViewModels are going to sit. So let's come in here and let's click Add, New Class. We're just going to name this first ViewModel. That's a naming convention to associate with ViewModels to name it ViewModel at the end. And I'm putting first view because I want to associate where this is going to go. So I'm going to click Add, and this is going to be my first ViewModel. What I'm going to hold in this class file is going to associate with the mydata.cs file. I'm going to map the entity to an IEnumerable type that's going to pass the mydata type to that IEnumerable, and then we'll implement that list and loop through that list in our first view. So let's come in here and let's just put a property inside of this class. And let's say public IEnumerable, and inside of IEnumerable, I'm going to put the IEnumerable type of my data, and I'm going to say it is my type, and then I'm going to set a get and a set. Once we do that, we have to import that namespace. So let's come in here. And now we have that namespace to associate inside of the IEnumerable type we have here. So right here, I'm going to go to my home controller. And you've noticed in my home controller, I have the iAction result of first view. And I have this model data right here. And typically you won't do this. You'll create a method on your entity and then pass that to your view model. I'm going to say var view model equals new first view model, which is going to map to the type. I'm going to pull that into this class file, the namespace, and then I'm going to pull my type, say ViewModel dot my type is going to be set to my list right here. You'll associate in your separate model class or whatever class you're associating with this. You will put that right there. Now what I've done here is I've set the model variable equal to a new list passing my data type. And then I'm creating a variable here, a ViewModel. It's substantiating an instance of the first ViewModel class. And then I'm putting the property of my type equal to my list. And then instead, I can come in here to the view and just pass the view model. Now that I have my iAction result to associate with my view model, I have to come to first view here, and I have to change this type associated with this. So this is not going to be coming to the IEnumerable type anymore. So we're going to be going to the view model folder, and then we're going to associate what? First view model. And then inside of the first view model, we're going to have that set. And then we're going to come over to our model itself, and we're going to say my type. And inside of my type, what do I have? I have the item.myID and the item.myValue that's associated with the myData type in my list. So essentially, you can create an IEnumerable type, and this is typically how you'll use ViewModels. It will be just that abstraction layer that you can utilize inside of your user interface. Typically what you'll do is you'll move your logic to associate with your class files separately, pass the properties associated from your entity data model to your view model, and render your view model inside of your different CSHTML files. So in this case, I did a little shorthand where I created my list, substantiated different instances of my list associated with my data type, created an instance of the first view model type, set the my type property inside of my view model CS file, and then I set that to an instance of my list, which is an IEnumerable type. Then I came into my first view right here, changed the namespace associated with the model, and set it to my first view model associated with the my type, and inside of that the properties associated with the my data type being looped through my first view model IEnumerable type. So this is how you implement ViewModels in ASP.NET Core and MVC. We will look at the different ways to implement data validation logic to associate in our ViewModels, and then eventually map it to our entity data model.